Hey folks, I thought I would do a video as kind of my take on a question that's come up recently in quite a few videos done by other YouTubers in the guitar community. I noticed maybe a week or two ago, Phil McKnight did a video um, about rising prices of guitars. And in that video, um, his claim was that new guitars are going up and used guitars are coming down in price. Interesting video as always. Always good to get his comments from an insider sort of perspective, somebody who owned um, a music store and has a lot of connections, obviously. Um, and then also recently I noticed Guitar Max, who has a really good channel, by the way, for the sort of stuff that I do with budget instruments. He made the claim that both used guitars and new guitars are going up, and that he had some connections in the industry that kind of warned him that this is going to be a big spike, a trend for a while, probably related to current events. And so he shared that information. So what do I think? Well, I can see from my perspective, dealing with the new instrument market, either from dealing with wholesalers, suppliers, distributors, I can definitely see the beginnings of a spike in prices. And I think that they're both right that old stock will be probably sold off at somewhere near the current price, maybe with some slight increase. Whereas anything new coming in, you're going to see a considerable spike in prices. And, it's all logistical stuff. First of all, shipping is exponentially higher, whether you're talking about local shipping or international shipping. It's more expensive. It gets more expensive all the time. All of the carriers, all of the freight companies are constantly spiking their costs, multiple times a year, it seems now. So it costs more to move goods. So you're going to see rises in price to compensate for that. And then secondly, there is a slowdown in movement between manufacturers and sellers or end users. So stuff is taking longer to get from the beginning point in the market to the end point in the market. So people are having a harder time filling inventories and things like that, and therefore adjusting their prices accordingly so that they can make the same profit margins. So yeah, I would agree that based on all of the current inflation, prices are going up. Also, probably based on the recent invasion of Ukraine. I've heard that international shipping rates are spiraling up and probably will continue to do so. This has affected the food markets because Ukraine is a massive agricultural seller. It's a big part of their GDP. And also, other consumer goods are seeing rises in prices. Of course, it's going to affect the oil markets, which always affects things like transportation and shipping. So yeah, I can see already slight rises in price. I've seen it for a while. I've seen certain brands, definitely Eert, and some other brands, Donner even. You can see them raising their prices $20, $50 per guitar over the last 6 months. There are some companies that are kind of standing pat for now. I've noticed IYV have still not put their prices up, and they're still offering perhaps the best deals on the market for electric guitars at least. But as they work through their current stock and get towards new runs of instruments, I think you'll probably see that change. As far as the used market, it's hard to tell. I would say that it's holding steady and you probably will see a rise in prices to reflect the new market. Obviously, buyers are paying more for new goods, so when they turn them, flip them, they're going to want higher prices on used goods. That stands to reason. One thing that I have seen in the used market is people really lowballing, a lot more lowballing than usual. I mean a lot more. And bolder attempts to lowball as well. Just this last week, I've had people, asking if I'll sell something at half price or, 100 off my listing price. And I explained to them, I work with people as much as I can, but I'm not doing this to make a loss. So I have a bottom line, and if your offer goes below my bottom line, then it makes no sense for me to do this work. I mean, if I take a guitar like this and I put 2 or 3 hours into it, either doing upgrades or a full luthier setup on it, there's a limited number that I have that I can sell this for before it becomes a loss and makes that work completely pointless. And I've found a lot of people getting bolder about really trying to drive prices down. I don't know if that reflects anxiety about current events, or people trying to get a bargain because the new markets are getting tougher. It's getting harder to find good stock at physical guitar shops, or people just trying their luck because they're interested in reselling stuff. I don't quite know what's behind that trend, but I have noticed probably 3 or 4 times a week I get people trying to lowball for stuff that they normally wouldn't go to those lengths or those numbers to do. So I sense some shifting dynamics in the market. I've also noticed a general shyness at levels you don't see. For instance, when I get a really, really decent acoustic guitar with a spruce top, even if it's laminate, and I put it together with a bag and I do a full setup on it, normally it doesn't take but a day or two for it to fly out the door at the $120 mark. But I've noticed I've got a few guitars sitting there for auction at that price that would normally fly out the door that are taking longer to sell than normal. So I think there is a little bit of conservatism, anxiety, worry. Most people are being conservative about their purchasing. This might be a holdover from the COVID period. It might be a reflection on new events that have come to the fore since the world opened up again. I don't know exactly what it is, but I can just tell you what I'm seeing as tendencies and trends. So I think people are in generally sort of tightening up their wallets a little bit, looking for deals, bargains, and you can't blame them for doing so, and trying their luck with offers that perhaps in normal times they might be a little bit embarrassed to ask. I mean, it's weird when you're selling something that you think is an absolute bargain and somebody comes along and offers you half that amount, which is way, way, way lower than your cost. It's easy to be offended. I don't get offended. I just try to explain, that there's a limit on what I can do on these instruments. They're all pretty much everything I sell is new. I list them as used because I do setups on them and take the tags off and all that. But there's a limit to what I can do as far as giving people bargains. Otherwise, it's just it's not worth my time. So I just thought, since I've watched a couple of videos of other YouTubers, commenting on current trends in the market, I thought I would give you my feedback from my perspective. Dealing with wholesalers, the prices are going up. They seem to have less product to offer. There's more of a scramble, I think, to get stuff in, and they're trying to move it quicker once they get it. And you know, there's a lot of I get a lot of email from various wholesalers around the world, and a lot of what they offer me is just not worth it. So I see rising prices there in that particular realm. So yeah, definitely, I think there's going to be a spike in you know, most goods, whether it's, you know, quick consumer goods or you know, long-term investment goods. I still think there's going to be a slight upturn in market costs and things like that. So, you know, a couple of those YouTubers have said buy now, you know, while the prices are cheap, because they may not be at that point for so long, which is not a bad shout. You know, certainly some of these IYV guitars that are being sold, those Les Pauls, when they come up, you know, for $160, I don't think it's a bad shout to maybe pick one or two of them up, because I think in a year or so, I can't see them being under 200 or even 250. So, you know, you might want to make some shrewd purchases, you know, if you're interested in, you know, buying while the market's low and then possibly reselling, or just getting a good deal on a guitar while you can. Might not be a bad advice to follow. But I don't want to be a doomsayer. A lot of what's happening in the world at the moment is a sort of unknown, hard to predict. The current conflict in Ukraine, for instance, could go a number of ways. It could drag out. It could fizzle out at some point. It could have a big effect on the guitar markets. It could have a negligible effect. There's no way to really know. So I don't want to be one of these doomsayers that preaches doom and gloom. It may be minimal. People are saying it's going to be a pretty sizable spike, and all signs of that could be possible. But sometimes the market surges and then corrects itself. So it could be a case of fluctuating prices for a while as well. Let me know what you think from your perspective. Are you buying? Are you selling? Anyway, folks, good to see you in a way. I'm looking at myself, but I see you through me. Okay, folks, see you on the next one.